This is Fight Fans Radio.
Hello, everybody. It's another edition of the Untethered MMA show on Fight Fans Radio for August 30th, 2012. Number to call in, 410-988-6525. You can reach us on Twitter. You can reach me at It's Mike Fagan. You can reach Derek at FightLinkerSubo. And you can reach Mr. Matt Roth of Bleacher Report fame and fortune at MattRoth512. I guess I'll start with you, Matt. We're supposed to have fight week. No fight week.
Yeah, man, this has been a really, really weird fight week. This has been really, really weird. Man, like, I should be in Vegas right now. I canceled my trip to go see a couple of concerts instead. And I'm taking it easy, man. I'm maxing and relaxing.
Now, are you getting a full refund from your cancellation, or are you on the hook for any of it?
I had to go ahead and change my flights, which ended up costing me an extra $150. But I'm using those flights for a later show, so yeah, I ended up spending more money. I got my hotel reimbursed. Flights are flights, and Continental just doesn't, or United just doesn't refund on those.
No, well, hotels you don't usually even put any money down until you actually get to the hotel anyway. So
with Hotels.com, you have to you have to go ahead and pay in advance. So it ended up costing me about $300 in advance for the hotel, and I canceled that the date, like within the cancellation period. And then went and saw Tallest Man on Earth on Tuesday, and I'm seeing the Bronx tomorrow. So all in all, solid week.
Derek, how are you coping without any fight week excitement?
I've got enough shit to keep me busy right now. When Roth talked about seeing Tallest Man on Earth, I thought the Tallest Man on Earth had come to Austin for some reason. I didn't realize that was also a band name.
Like some sort of freak show came into town?
No, like the Tallest Man on Earth. Like, I think it's this Chinese guy. I'm sure he goes around. Maybe he was just in town that day. But no, I didn't realize there was like a musical connection to it. Just, I'm going to school, getting ready to see how well the Battleship Manning holds up this season. See if he can fucking take shots. Like, hey, you got hit a couple times in the Niners game and he got up. So about as good as we could hope for. The Niners game was the first one where he didn't throw a pick. He threw 2 touchdowns, only 2 incompletions. Hope, fingers crossed, it doesn't look, Montana-esque with the Chiefs right now.
Yeah. Matt, did you see any tall Chinese people walking around Austin? Or
Man, if I saw a tall Chinese person, I'd probably be Instagramming photos. Because that's such a rarity, man.
Well, dude, is Yao Ming still in Houston, or did he move back as soon as he retired?
Did he retire?
Oh, yeah. He retired like a year ago because his fucking feet and ankles just kept breaking on him.
Oh, because he's Chinese.
That and the fact that he's a giant.
Oh, no, I thought it had to do with how they bind people's feet.
It's more of a
They do that for women,
design
not men.
Those people.
Already starting out with the borderline racism on the show.
There's no racism there.
So last week, Matt, you went off on a pretty good rant about UFC 151 getting canceled and basically all of it directed at John Jones and Greg Jackson. Have you come down any since last week? Are you still upset are you still upset as much as you were last week?
I'm still upset. Like I'm still mad about it, man. Like I don't think I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, that was totally cool of him to totally fuck everyone. But I mean, I'll get over it. Like, maybe eventually. Eventually, I'll get over it. I just don't get how he fucks up so badly, and he doesn't have to deal with any consequences.
Oh, none.
Like, there's no consequences except maybe like he lost all leverage when negotiating, future deals.
Well, it doesn't matter if he's God for the next 3 years. You guys are going to be writing snotty articles about him, making DUI jokes, so he cost himself that.
Yeah, but that was going to happen anyway because I'm a funny person and I like talking about, that kind of those kind of jokes about him.
But I mean, well,
I'm always going to make jokes about John Jones. I'm always going to do that because I just don't think that he's a sincere personality.
Well,
as opposed to Chael Sonnen, who you're a big fan of.
Well,
there's a guy you can have a beer with and know he's going to look you straight in the eye and tell you what he's thinking.
Here's the thing about Chael, and I've had the opportunity to speak to him a couple of times. When you get him on a topic that he doesn't have to be Chael P. Sonnen, he's amazing. Like, if you get him to talk about wrestling, talking to Chael Sonnen is an incredible time. But if you kind of, like, and this is something that kind of bothers me about those media scrums, is that everybody, when we have to write stories out of those scrums, people are always like, well, give us the Chael Sonnen. And it's like, dude, I'd rather build like a real cool story about him being a real dude as opposed to Chael Sonnen being Chael Sonnen. So, like, I personally don't like the, oh, and let me tell you this, the guy with the biggest arms and the biggest charm, and, like, I don't really care about that guy. Like, I like Chael Sonnen, the dude who, if you get him to talk about amateur wrestling, he is super, super, super direct, and he's giving you his real personality.
Yeah, I've had a couple of opportunities to talk to him as well, and I got the same impression from him. I mean, we were talking about fight sport stuff and some matchmaking stuff. It was about a year and a half ago, I think. And even then, he was super cool about it. It was all off the record, and that was made clear up front. But super personable, super nice. Seems like a real down-to-earth guy when you actually get to know, like Matt said, Chael Sonnen and not Chael P. Sonnen. But to continue on from that,
I don't get this line of argument. Like, Paul Ryan might be like a boat racing enthusiast. And if you get him talking about boat racing, he's a really cool guy and he's honest and he's charming. But if he's full of shit the rest of the time that he's talking, then he's a dishonest person.
Okay, before you say anything, Matt, I hold my politicians to a little bit of a higher standard than professional athletes.
I'm not saying that Chael Sonnen can't do it. I enjoy it personally, but to say that not to like someone because they're phony and then to be a fan of this clearly manufactured yet awesome personality rings to me as it's more like I like his character, I don't like his. Don't dislike him because he's fake. Dislike him because you dislike him. Don't fucking go to that realm because a lot of these people are fake and you like some of them.
But like from the same perspective, do you get pissed about pro wrestlers acting not like pro wrestlers in real life? Like, do you think that Macho Man Randy Savage was like, "Oh yeah, dig it, snap into a Slim Jim," like in normal conversation?
That brings me to: do you guys read the Virgil bag on Deadspin?
Yes.
Yes, the new one. There were these two wrestlers. I'm trying to remember who they were. I think they were more local guys than anything else. And before the show, everybody was amped for the show, and before the show, they both went to the same convenience store and just happened to be there at the same time.
It was Buddy Roberts and one of the it wasn't the Von Erichs. It was gentleman Chris Adams.
Okay, yeah, and Adams walks in late and looks in there, and
Adams is in there. Adams is in line.
Okay, all right. It was the other way around. Comes in, looks around, realizes that the fans aren't going to fucking be cool with him pretending like they don't see each other, and just says, "I didn't know this was a gay bar," and goes back to the cooler to get his beer.
Oh, and then he started calling fans back by the cooler fags for wearing Von Erich shirts. So
you see, and That's what you want. You don't they do that whole high five, kiss each other in the ring part right after the fight, and some people bitch about that. A lot of people want the characters available all the time, but
yeah, but they were in a situation where they were surrounded by fans, and I think the point Matt's trying to make is there's no deception with who Chael Sonnen is and what he's trying to do.
Everyone is a little fake in this business, in most businesses that involve selling tickets to people. And it's just a matter of degrees and how much of them actually comes out in it and whether or not you like it or not. If you think that John Jones is doing all this because of obliviousness, like the stupid tweets, the talking shit to Rashad Evans about being with Vitor, or if Rashad's going down to 185 or what, some of that's calculated. It may be a stupid plot, but it keeps his name out there. The last thing you heard about John Jones is not that he dipped their stuff since then. And everybody's a little bit fake. So saying, oh, he's fake, I don't like him, I guarantee you the guy you like is a little bit fake.
I don't think that him comparing himself to Jesus was really, really planned and calculated.
I'm pretty sure Chael Sonnen had Jesus write the foreword to his book, didn't he?
No. I'm saying John Jones.
Yeah, right. But, okay, so they both talk to fictional characters is what you're saying.
I'm saying that John Jones, straight out compared himself to Jesus like he's a martyr for fucking
I'm pretty sure Chael put words in Jesus' mouth and made it look like Jesus was endorsing his Republican-ass point of view. Apples to apples.
How do you know that those weren't actually Jesus' words?
How do you know that John Jones isn't Jesus? Riddle me that.
Because he doesn't have holes in his hands or feet.
He's not 33 yet.
He doesn't have holes in his hands or feet.
When he turns 34, we know
he doesn't have holes in his hands or feet.
It's hard to tap when your hands are nailed to a board. That's why Jesus didn't tap.
That is true. That is true.
Verbal submission, John 3:16.
To carry this conversation forward a little bit, there was a story that I believe Brian Alvarez of Figure 4 Weekly / The Wrestling Observer posted about, talking about apparently John Jones was upset about Chael Sonnen's attacks on Twitter and actually got a hold of Dana White and asked him to stop it.
Who leaked that? How did that get out? That's the question, because it had to be someone from John or someone from Dana.
No, it's the funniest thing in the world. That's literally the funniest thing.
Well, Derek, I imagine, John calls up Dana, and Dana's going to talk to somebody about it.
I don't think John called up Dana.
I think he did.
I don't think John Jones.
All right, maybe he texted him.
Maybe somebody from his camp did. Maybe his manager did. Maybe his agent did. Maybe Maybe they didn't text Dana. Maybe they text somebody below Dana, and there was a relay between the messages. Who knows?
Here's the thing. It's still the funniest thing in the world.
This is what I mean. This is why John Jones is doomed. You want to talk about the repercussions? The media should be treating him like Jesus fucking Christ, and instead he's Judas Priest now. There's nothing he can do about it.
He's Judas Priest?
Yes, the band. I'm quoting. Remember the Saturday Night Live skit? You're supposed to sound like Jesus
Christ,
not Judas Priest. Thank you. All right.
I understand your references sometimes.
Well, after I explain them, that makes it
right.
easy.
I need you to explain your jokes and why they're funny.
Normally, you laugh your ass off. Getting you to laugh, especially when you were pissed last week, is like my main accomplishment on this show.
Man, I was really mad last week.
I know, and I still got you to laugh a couple of times, so I was proud of myself. Imagine what's going to happen when we get our surprise mystery guest on here whenever, he's at an event.
Is it really a mystery event? Or a mystery guest? Didn't you talk about it on Twitter already?
Well, yeah, the fact that I talk about it on Twitter means that everybody in fucking Bangladesh knows about it. It's not a mystery anymore, absolutely.
Do we want to just reveal it, or do you want to just send people to your Twitter?
I don't want it. What if I piss him off between now and then and he cancels? Then I'm going to look like a douchebag.
Keep it a secret.
That's what I'm saying. Wait until it's confirmed.
All right, I'll give people hints. It's a guy.
It's Dick Cheney, everyone.
Involved in MMA, and he appears on most Strikeforce shows.
God damn. That's 4 people, Mike.
It could be Scott Coker.
Fuck Frank Shamrock. That's all I have to say.
It's Frank Shamrock, guys. I'm sorry.
It's totally Frank Shamrock. I'm going to ask him how he feels about not being in the Hall of Fame and how it feels that that's never going to happen as long as he lives.
We're also talking about braces.
Yeah, I was going to ask him if he misses his braces.
Oh, because he's never heard that one before.
Oh.
Dental plan.
Lisa needs braces.
Dental plan. Frankie needs braces.
So this is what a show is when we have no MMA to talk about, people.
Guys, seriously.
I got like the first 4 seasons.
The crazy thing is, Mike, this is what the show is going to be like for the next month.
Not if we get our mystery guest. That'll be a fun episode.
Oh,
you guys
man.
will just sit and take notes. Do you understand?
I'm just going to let you do your thing, man. I'll go out and drink while you do that.
That's what I did when you talked to the crazy lady.
No, the crazy lady was the best.
You handled that like a pro. I stood out of the way and watched because it was beautiful.
Can we have her back on?
If you can get her. But no. Actually, no, we can't. I'm going to veto that right now because I don't give a shit about her book.
I don't care about her book either.
You're depressed by a card with Roger Huerta on it. Why do you want to hear about someone that wanted to suck his dick?
She says that she didn't want to do that.
Well, do you believe... How many girls do you know that don't want to suck Roger Huerta's dick?
Here, that's true.
It's a short list, isn't it?
I think even most racists would admit.
I think Louis C.K. would probably fuck Roger Huerta if he's about Ewan McGregor.
I mean, yeah, wouldn't all three of us? I mean, who are we kidding?
He's a little small for me. I might hurt him.
Oh, fuck off.
Doesn't handle top control very well.
Oh, well done. So Dong Hyun Kim gave an interview. Apparently, this was back in July, before his fight with Demian Maia. Derek, you had a chance to look at it, right?
Yeah, and I'm very. Doesn't the UFC pay for that shit?
Yeah. So Derek, yeah, you want to answer it, Matt? You can go ahead.
Yeah. So the UFC covers the travel for the fighter and one coach,
and for your hotel room, and your transfer to from the show.
But they only cover it 5 days out from the fight,
right? And the UFC also provides a, I believe, I'm not 100% on this. So if any of the listeners want to contact Zuffa and fact check, I'm saying I'm not 100% positive, but I believe that the UFC also provides a per diem as well for the fighters to eat. But if a fighter is coming over from Korea, what Dong Hyun Kim was basically saying is like, it's costing a lot more money when you're an Asian fighter because you have to fly over to the States, and the 4 to 5 days that they book for you, you can't just be like, hey, can you book it 2 weeks in advance for us? Zuffa books the 4 to 5 days. And so he needs to then go and change the flights, and he incurs the cost of that. If he wants to bring over a manager, which you usually need to do, plus if you want to bring over like a training partner to roll with and spar with, basically it ends up costing Korean, Asian, Japanese, whatever you want. Let's say all encompassing and say all encompassing and call it Asian fighters to come over to the United States to fight. It costs them a ton of money. And so between training camps and getting taxed in the States for federal and state tax, then getting taxed in Korea, it ends up costing them a ton of money. And that's true. It really is. For a foreign fighter, it costs a lot of money to fight in the UFC.
If anybody in any other line of work said, I have a job that's not where I live and I have to travel to it and it costs me a lot of money, what would your first suggestion to them be?
Move
I'll
there.
give you a hit. It's a 4-letter word.
Move.
Not a lot of NFL players flying back to Japan in between games. They're not. If you're a professional athlete, obviously he's making more money fighting in America than he is in Korea, because if he wasn't, guess what? He'd be fighting in Korea.
How many NFL players are from Japan, though?
There's only one with the last name that's even close, and it's Scott Fujita, and I don't know if he's still playing.
There's a couple of guys that have close.
Patrick Chung from the Patriots. Is he Japanese?
There's also Haloti Nagata.
He's not Japanese. He's Samoan.
Yeah, but it sounds Japanese.
Yeah, but it's not. It's fucking.
I'm just saying, it sounds like it. You're talking about it sounds like Japanese name.
That was the best name ever. There was a running back for I think San Diego State. His name was Chris Fuamatu Ma'afala.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
He was great. I loved him. He's a big fat bastard.
But your analogy, as usual, Derek, doesn't really hold any water either, because an NFL player,
as usual, you're the guy who didn't like the Fedor is Sting analogy, which is the greatest analogy ever.
Well, let's actually use baseball, because baseball has a high contingent of Asian players in addition to other nationalities.
Yeah, where does Suzuki live during the season? America.
Yeah, but exactly. There's a season though. There's no season for MMA. They only have to fight once or twice every few months.
Okay. Well, like I said, this is market economics. If Dong Hyun Kim was better off not flying to America to fight, he would not fly to America to fight.
Well, he said too in this interview that he's a little better off than most other Asian fighters, and
Sure.
it doesn't sound like he's complaining about it. He's just being
He's
honest.
also a little better overall than most Asian fighters. The fact that he is good enough and makes enough money per paycheck to make it worthwhile for him doesn't mean that other Asian fighters deserve that same thing. He's a top 10, 12 guy. I mean, he's got the loss to Condit and a bullshit loss to Parisian. But if any other Asian fighter is that good, like Gomi's making enough money to make it worth his while too.
Yeah, but like somebody like Korean Zombie, at the point where he beat Dustin Poirier, he was still making 6 and 6.
Does he still train in Korea at Evolve MMA, or is that's in where is that?
Evolve is in Singapore, and he's not. He's with he's with Korean Top Team with Dong Hyun Kim.
Oh, okay.
But like, obviously, they have sponsors and there's bonuses and blah blah blah. But like, 6 and 6 sucks.
Well, I believe their manager said that they lost money on that Poirier fight.
Yeah, like you lose money on these fights, and I think that's the point that and the other point that Dong Hyun Kim was saying is like a lot of these Asian companies they still have to pay the UFC's sponsor tax, and those taxes. It's not like a set like it's $50,000. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less.
Let me ask you, isn't 5 days to 7 days the traditional time that people arrive in town for a fight unless they're training there? I mean, that's more than enough time to get over jet lag, isn't it?
That's the whole point.
No,
5 days?
Dude, I went to Korea 2 years ago. I had jet lag the entire time I was there. And coming home, I had jet lag for basically 2 weeks.
Okay, and how drunk were you in Korea, man?
I was hammered in Korea.
Okay, that may affect the circadian rhythm as well.
To give you an example, Derek, when John Olaf Einamo fought on the UFC on Fox show, he came in on the normal 5 or 6 days or 4 days, whatever it was, and in addition, he had an issue with his flight, but he complained he said that he would never do that again because it just didn't give him enough time to get his body prepared for the fight.
I think Struve had something like that, too, for one of his fights. He said he didn't know jet lag was a real thing. Like, he won, but he looked like shit. I think maybe it was the Moorcraft fight, and he just said, yeah, I didn't know jet lag was a real thing. But he got there like 2 days before, so that made more sense to me. 5 should be enough as long as you're not getting fucking tanked like Matt Roth.
Yeah, but it's harder going east than it is west.
Yeah, because you lose the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's losing a day. Or he's gaining... Yeah, he's losing a day? I don't know. How does the international date line work?
When you head west, it negates some of it because you're moving earlier in time. When you head east, it's like doubling up on it.
No, but he has to cross the international date line too. Basically, like I understand where Dong Hyun Kim's coming from, and man, we're really trying to
we're stretching it, baby. We're fucking
really
it out.
Well, people should know when I send out a show format. I try to every day before the show starts.
It was pathetic.
And usually there's sometimes there's topics that I know are going to take a lot of time, so we might only have 5 or 6 things to talk about. Sometimes I have as much as like 10 or 11. And this week I sent 3, and it was UFC 151 Fallout, Dong Hyun Kim's comments, and then talking about fantasy football.
So I mean, like, I guess we're going to start talking about fantasy football.
No, wait a minute. I just got a very important email. MMA veteran Frank Trigg to accompany at-risk youth to Tough Man Hawaii event in Hilo, Hawaii.
That's not important.
First of all, the email is dated August 30th, 2011, so mad props to Melissa Ingram for being a fantastic PR person.
Oh, man, you're putting her on blast?
Well, don't fucking have a typo within 4 words of your it's in bold type. That part should be fucking proofread.
Man. Man,
One of the things I like most about being a recognized MMA personality are opportunities like this. I take pride in being a mentor to adolescents that need a positive influence in their lives. Do they let wife beaters talk to at-risk kids?
I think so.
How can that be part of your community service? Like, we want you to be a leader to the community because you fucking choked your wife out.
Well, he needs to. Maybe it's part of community service.
That's a weird punishment. That's like, having the It's Always Sunny from Philadelphia gang coaching kids fucking basketball.
No, that made sense.
They burned down a building.
That made sense, though, man.
Let's go back to the John Jones thing real quick, because there's an article. It's on Bloody Elbow. Pat Milicic was talking about the John Jones situation. He called Dana White's reaction to it organizational suicide. He was talking about how Dana pretty much buried him in the conference call and in the fallout. Matt, since you're the one most upset about it, can you at least look at it from that sense that it's kind of an odd reaction from Dana to completely bury his most promising superstar?
Oh, it's totally nuts. But I mean, I still understand it. It's totally crazy to basically just burn notice your future champion and your future face of your company. But at the same time, Dana in the past, he's had guys like Matt Hughes and Rich Franklin and people who've been willing to step up on short notice and help save the company and or help save cards. And John Jones, he needs to realize that when you're champion and that when you are going to be in business with somebody for quite a while, there are expectations, and he didn't meet those expectations. Does that
Derek?
make sense?
Yeah, no, I understand your side of it.
Yeah, well, the organizational suicide thing, it's really more organizational self-preservation because that conference call and the resultant brouhaha and the fact that the event was canceled and they made clear that they were doing it, but they put the blame on Jones and Jackson, that seemed to me to be another reassertion that the brand and the promotion are bigger than the fighter, and that whereas they were content to build John Jones and put UFC gear on him, although Dana says now he was always against that idea for some weird reason, and the Bud Light commercial with Dana, instead of doing that now, they're separating the two and saying one is more important than the other, one doesn't exist without the other, and our primary concern is the UFC and not John Jones. So if anything, I see it more as the organization lashing out as what it perceives now as a threat, which is a champion telling them when he is and isn't going to take fights, because they don't fucking like that. And their whole business model and their whole contractual model for the last decade has been built around avoiding that and punishing it when it happens.
But aren't they going to have to accept that going forward? I mean, we already saw. I mean, even with a guy like Brock Lesnar, obviously they.
I think they'll have to accept it in the same way that the NFL has to accept holdouts, which is that somebody's pissed about money or they're angry about their situation, but they don't have anywhere to go because they're under contract, and the fans eventually turn against them and say, you know what, get your spoiled ass out there and fucking do what you're supposed to do. Do what we're paying to watch you do. So it's going to be frustrating and it's going to be stupid, but it affects every other major sport when you have the conflict between owners, athletes, and fans. And we're just moving into that phase now because the numbers have gotten to the point where these athletes are comfortable not using every minute of their athletic prime trying to make as much money as they can.
See, here's the thing. Actually, I wrote something about this or on this kind of topic.
It probably wasn't as good as what I just said, but go ahead.
It was actually way better. But I didn't have a problem with John Jones saying, "Look, I don't want to fight Lyoto Machida because there's not a lot of pay-per-view money." I have no problem with him saying that. I think that for a fighter that young to start actually thinking, even if it was just lip service, talking about his future and not being a broke fighter, a broke former fighter, I totally completely understand that. And I actually commended him because I don't want to see him being another Ric Flair. I don't want to see him being like Latrell Sprewell, who says that, 3 years, $21 million was an insult and that he can't feed his kids. That's
Dude, hey, if John Jones choked Greg Jackson, though, that'd be pretty funny.
Oh, that would be hilarious. But, I don't want to hear fighters, and I get where fans turn their back on him because if John Jones starts saying, well, the the Chael Sonnen fight, I wasn't going to make any money on it, and or the UFC needs to pay me more, and that their current contract that they gave me is bullshit. Like, dude, you're making more than most people. Like, not athletes. I'm saying most people.
Right.
And it's insulting when you hear somebody go, "Oh, well, I'm going to have to, not fight or take this fight because I'm not going to make $20 million. I'm only going to make 10." Like, I'll never see $10 million in my life, ever. I know that. Like, I have no concept of what 10 million somethings look like. I've never seen 10 million of anything. And so my problem with John Jones is that by turning his back on everybody, and you keep bringing up like that we're going to keep, crucifying him in the media, by turning his back and not being a team player, I don't really think that people want to see him fight, because then it turns into just bitching and whining about nothing. I don't know where I was going with that, but it sounded good.
Well, it did much like your piece, I'm sure. So I'll have to pull that one up and read it and wonder what the conclusion was.
My piece was focused.
Have you ever written a focus piece?
Sometimes.
I think that, well, the open letters used to be brilliant, but a bigger issue to me is that a lot of champions in boxing, and that's where I don't want to see this sport go, always use that excuse, which is, I don't need to fight, he needs to go out and get a bigger name, I don't need to fight him yet, I'm going to fight some other guy while he builds himself up, and that's normally a way for somebody to say, oh shit, that guy might beat me, and nobody knows who he is, so I'm going to go fight another couple of scrubs and make another couple $1 million paydays, and then maybe eventually I'll fight this guy and I'll get a rematch out of it, and if he is better than me, then shit. But it delays the fights that we want to see for years if these champions have the ability and the authority. It's like giving a football player the ability to choose which plays he goes out for. Like, Lawrence Taylor's out there. Fuck that. I don't want to go. No. You have to do what your owner tells you to do because they're the ones paying you, and you have to do what the fans want you to do because they're the ones paying the owners. It's a tentative agreement, but the ownership, like I said last week, has absolutely no leverage against John Jones. The media punishment is all that he faces. There's no fine, there's no suspension, there's no dock in pay, there's nothing. There's no arbitration meeting, there's no avenue for the UFC to go now other than cutting a guy to get him to do what they want. So the only alternative they have is the court of public opinion. And traditionally, with the majority of UFC fans, and most of them don't go online, they've proven to be pretty effective at getting fans on their side of the issue. With John Jones is making it easy for them.
They get ahead of the issue. They get ahead of the story. John Jones, he shouldn't have waited, 48 hours before doing an interview with Junkie? And he shouldn't have waited like almost a week to what's it called? He shouldn't have waited a week to start tweeting. Like he let the UFC dictate the story, and of course he's going to look bad in that.
Well, I don't think they knew the event was going to be canceled, so by waiting until that conference call to do it, they knew, all right, we're announcing it, here's what happened, here's why, and then you can let them explain why they chose their course of action, because now the ramifications of that are clear. So, yeah, they definitely did get ahead of it, and like I said, most fans don't go to the blogs, guys. Most fans like Dana White, so they're going to listen to him and listen to what he has to say, and then John Jones is going to come out and do the shit that he's doing, and it's going to make it real easy for most people to make up their minds as to whose side they're on.
Derek, you were talking earlier about you don't want to see MMA and the UFC become like boxing, but
Nope.
If that's the case, isn't there an onus on the UFC not to put together cards that highly resemble boxing cards and are contingent on one fight or one fighter being able to show up and fight?
Well, they're always going to be different than boxing cards because most boxing cards don't have 20 boxers on them or 22 boxers on them because it would simply take too long. When you have 3-round fights, you can fit more guys on a card. So that's always that. It's a function of the number of injuries right now. George St. Pierre hasn't fought in a year. Anderson Silva's taken his good sweet time off. John Jones is having his thing. Junior Dos Santos and Velasquez was delayed. And the lightweight title isn't fucking drawing anybody. So it's a function of a lot of different things right now. I don't think we'll ever see that happen again. I think that part of the reason for the cancellation was throwing the weight at John Jones to say, hey, look, if you do this, then we're going to fucking nuke you in public. So you can get back in our good graces, but don't pull this shit again.
But it's not like we haven't seen these top-heavy cards before. I mean, it hasn't even been that long. It's only been a year since the show that Tito subbed in for as a late replacement for, against Rashad Evans. I mean, we've seen cards, hang on that edge.
Right. Well, we've seen it in less than a couple of days. That's what made Charlie Brenneman, his point about John Jones so poignant, because he's taken a fight on, 36 hours notice and won. That was to save the event that Marquardt couldn't make against Rick Story for the main event because of his TRT issues with New Jersey. So we've definitely seen it before, and John Jones had a chance to, be that guy, and he didn't take it. So I think that less than the top-heavy card, and this has nothing to fucking do with oversaturation, because if that card happens, it's 500,000 pay-per-view buys. That's the point. Like that, it would have been worked just fine.
Was that supposed to go to me or Mike? Because there was some dead air there. I don't know, man. Look, obviously the money weight classes for the UFC are 170 and above. 155 and 145, 135, 125 are all fucking, they're miserable, pitiful numbers. That's why I kind of laugh when there's this discussion of the UFC adding a 115-pound class. One, what does somebody look like that's 115 pounds in a guy? Two, like, really? Like, why would I want to watch 115-pound guys fight? That sounds like the worst time.
Maybe they'll train with Duke Rufus and they'll train him to jump off the cage and shit.
That literally sounds like the worst fight ever.
Maybe they'll do tag team MMA, like two 115ers against a heavyweight.
Yeah, like that's the only way you can make that interesting.
Be fun.
Like little guys don't have KO power or as much KO power.
Joe Benavidez says hi.
Yeah, Joe Benavidez is an anomaly in that.
Well, there's only eight guys in the weight class.
And no, the UFC's schedule is not affecting cards. They have depth.
They have 300 guys on the roster.
They have depth. They can do whatever they want.
What's up? We're going to segue into fantasy football because fuck MMA. Yeah. Really, guys?
Can we please just talk about fantasy football?
Let's drop the kayfabe. What's up, Gino?
What's up, Gino?
What's up, guys?
So well behaved sitting there silently while we gab.
I've been waiting for this MMA shit to go away. I don't know why you keep talking about it. Like 40 minutes now. It's like fucking Jesus.
And we've had two topics. We've done this on two Dong Young Kim and John Jones. That's what we've been talking about since 3 o'clock.
Been beating this Jones thing to death, man. Nobody gives a fuck about John Jones.
Matt Roth does.
That's not true at all. That's not true at all. He's been getting us incredible hits, so I actually appreciate his stupidity. I appreciate his stupidity because it gets me paid.
Yeah, exactly.
So I hope he keeps being just the biggest dipshit on earth and calling Dana White to make Chael stop talking shit about him.
Just complaining about that. Yeah,
if he could just do that every once a week, we'd be good.
We have the word that call came through at 1:30 in the morning while he was crying.
Oh God, I could just picture him having a talk with Greg Jackson about it beforehand. Like, Greg, what should I do?
Meekly walking up to the blackjack table. Going up to the blackjack table. Dana, can I talk to you?
What should I do? Should I call Dana White? Should I ask Chael to stop talking shit?
Fagan, do we have a draft order, or do you randomly number generate that in an hour?
The Yahoo will randomly generate the draft order when the applet becomes available.
You're the commissioner, right?
I am the commissioner.
You're the commissioner. Okay, everybody. Fagan's lying. The commissioner has the ability to make the draft order whatever he wants, so he's going to tell us it's random, and then he's going to fuck with it.
I do have the ability to change the draft order, but I leave it random. So
yeah, I bet you do. Just put yourself as third, so nobody gets suspicious.
Third is probably the best slot in the draft.
That's what I was going to say. That's exactly where you'd want to be.
Well, Arian Foster's going to be off the board at that point. Isn't that who you want?
Yeah, but it's Foster, McCoy, and Rice, and it doesn't really matter who you take.
So no faith in Peterson.
There's Jay Cutler. I'm picking Jay Cutler in the first round.
You are this year's Leland Rolling in that case. Congratulations.
So if people don't know, there's what I've been dubbing the parentheses X SBN Fantasy Football League. We started it last year. I started it when I was still on staff, and then midway through the season is when I got the old heave-ho. Ended up winning the league anyway. So it's me, Derek, and Roth, Gino, Brian Heminger, Matt Bishop, Richard Wade, Brent Brookhouse, Chris Barton, Forrest Lynn, Brent Ducharme, and Tim Burke. So if you follow all of the SBN blogs, you should be familiar with every one of those names.
So this means that the quote-unquote ex-SBN Fantasy League has more people who still work for SBN than do not, right?
Yeah, but it's our league, Gino.
I'd watch that kind of talk around the commish.
Yeah, I guess.
It's actually pretty close. It's I think it's 7-5.
7-5. All right.
And then that depends on how you classify Forrest. I don't know.
Well, fucking Forrest never worked for SBN, did he?
I mean, he was on the radio show.
He was on the radio show, and then and technically Bishop doesn't work for SBN. He does the show, and it's sort of on Bloody Elbow. So I don't know how you would consider him. We can talk to him about it at the draft tonight.
Oh, that'll be interesting.
What we're trying to do is the draft's at 8 p.m. Central Time, and about a half hour before, I'm going to try to set up a Google Plus Hangout. You can only get 10 guys on there, and I'm assuming not all 12 guys could make the Hangout anyway, but try to get as many of us on. Last year we were on Skype, and it was fucking fun as hell. So with Google Plus, we can broadcast it out on YouTube. So hopefully we can get 10 guys on there and just fucking rip into each other.
What was Leland's first pick last year? Wasn't it like Peyton Manning?
It was Tom Brady. First round.
I took Tom Brady first round this year. I felt dirty about it.
There was one pick that he made that was absolutely hilarious.
It was like third or fourth round, dude. It was something fucking.
There were a couple guys that got taken. I think Leland was the first one who took a guy that was hurt for the entire year.
Yeah, he took a guy on IR. That was funny.
It was Peyton Manning. Manning in the first round. And we were like, you idiot. He's done for the year. And then I was also an idiot, and I chose Chris Johnson instead of Ray Rice.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
I picked Vic the first round, and that worked for about the first half of the season. But right when he started stinking, I swung a trade to get Tebow, and Tebow was fucking heroic for like the last 5-6 weeks of last year fantasy-wise, putting up like 22 points a game.
Yeah, but so was Vic.
No, Vic sucked shit for the last 6 fucking weeks last year.
Oh, that's because he killed a dog.
He had exactly one rushing touchdown and like 16 throwing touchdowns. Like he was god awful last year.
So here's Leland's draft from last year. In the first round, he had the second pick. Or no, he didn't. You were Leland's boners, Matt.
I was Leland's boners.
Was he the...
Remember in emails?
He got so pissed.
He used to put boners in quotes.
Yes.
Was Leland the people's eye? I think that was
yeah, he was.
Right. All right, first round, he had the 6th pick. He took Tom Brady.
Yes.
In round 2, he took Maurice Jones-Drew. And then in the 3rd round, he took Deshaun Jackson.
It was like 4th or something. He did something really ridiculous.
Round 4, he took Ahmad Bradshaw. Round 5, he took Mario Manningham. Round 6, he took Owen Daniels, which is fucking retarded.
None of this sounds that bad.
Round 7, he took Santana Moss. Round 8, he took Johnny Knox. That's bad.
Was it Snowden who picked the guy on IR?
Knox? No, Knox played last year.
No, I think Snowden picked the guy on IR.
Was it John?
John also sucked. Those were the two.
Was it Ryan Williams that didn't play last year?
No, dude, it was fucking Heminger. Somebody chose Peyton Manning in the first round.
I don't know if that happened.
Dude, it was either Heminger or...
Can't you see the whole draft at once, Mike?
I have to scroll down through it. Peyton Manning was taken in round 3 by Ducharme, who ended up having...
And that's who he made fun of.
Yeah, no, Ducharme fucking went wild. I mean, I jobbed him really good with the Vic trade, but I think he won, didn't he?
No, I won.
Ah.
I picked up Aaron Rodgers from Bishop midway through the year.
Oh, yeah, Bishop made the most retarded trade of the year.
Oh, that was when you guys were working together. Collusion.
You fucking total bullshit.
Fucking collusion.
I have a question for the draft tonight. Can we trade draft picks?
No, I don't think Yahoo allows it.
Yeah, I know they allow it, but I'm wondering if you allow it.
Look, I've already talked to Brookhouse about this, but I've made secondary my goal of winning the league. I made it second to my primary goal, which is making sure that Forrest Lynn, whose team name is Cam Newton in capital letters, we just need to make a pact that he cannot have Cam Newton on his roster at any point this year.
I'm not drafting him, so that's up to you guys. I don't want him.
Who's your quarterback?
Like Fagan's talking about the 3 running backs, Foster, Rice, and McCoy. Like, if I have the number 2 pick, I might draft Aaron Rodgers.
People have been saying that about Stafford too, because Stafford might put up like crazy.
Stafford, are you?
Dude,
please take Matthew Stafford in round 1. I will fucking love the shot of that.
No, I'm not saying round 1, but he might be. I might wait a little bit and make him my quarterback.
Well, if we're talking about later on in the draft, sure.
And I don't get why Adrian Peterson isn't in more people's top 3s. Like, I know he had a terrible knee injury, but I think he's going to have a better season than Ray Rice.
He might not play that much in the first 3 or 4 weeks. He's back to practice, but he still fucking tore his ACL. Like,
did you hear about the rule that they have in the Vikings practice?
They couldn't touch him?
Yeah, if you touch him, you're cut.
Wait, what?
When he was rehabbing his injury, and they said don't touch ADP because he's
ADP. He's the Home Protection Service now.
Yep.
Sure, that's what people fucking abbreviate his name, dude.
It's AP, dude.
No,
there is no D.
No, dude, they abbreviate his name AP.
I'm looking at the Yahoo consensus rankings. This was posted on Monday, and Peterson is 32.
That's crazy.
That's
the composite among their quote-unquote experts like Funston and Barons and Evans and all these idiots. Brad Evans has him as low as 50. That's with every player available.
I gotta check my draft. I gotta check my draft order. Man, my one goal this year is just beating Gino. That's it. That's all I care about this year.
Ross, you cannot. You're not even going to come close, dude. Like, you don't understand what you're getting into here.
You're Snowden this year, so you know. You're Snowden.
No, I actually know football. You guys got lucky. You guys tried to bring in a bunch of guys who don't know shit about football. I know, and I'm not. There's no Bears bias like with Leyland. I'm not drafting Johnny Knox in any round of any draft ever.
Or Jay Cutler.
I'm not drafting Brandon Marshall either, and I don't want Jay Cutler. I don't want nothing to do with any of them except Forte.
Forte was my fucking hero last year. He was my pick of the year.
If I get like pick 8, and then people in front of me start getting silly and stupid, like I expect Cam Newton to get drafted like 5th by some dipshit.
It'll be first round by Forrest. That's the concern because they don't want him to have Cam Newton.
Well, hopefully he's above me then, and he's got an early pick above me, so he wasted on a pick like that.
I guarantee.
But I pick Forte, but nobody else. I'm seeing Marshawn Lynch ranked 11th, and that's blowing my mind.
Well, yeah, Russell Wilson's going to take so much pressure off of him. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, Marshawn Lynch is going to fucking either tank it or he's going to get arrested at some point.
No, he's going to have like 4 180-yard games, and he's going to have like 5 60-yard games because it's Marshawn Lynch.
Like Michael Turner.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited to see how DeMarco Murray does this year. That's probably the only Cowboy I'd consider picking in the first 4 rounds.
You don't think Miles Austin is going to put up some numbers? Or Dez?
Dez, if he doesn't beat his mom, maybe.
Beating his mom might be just what he needs to get his game face on.
He's on a curfew now, so he has to be in by midnight. That's in his
they got him like a whole babysitting squad.
Yeah.
What time of the day was it when he punched his mom last time? Like, if he's doing it at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, that doesn't really help you.
You just asked that question wasn't a joke. That was an actual question.
No, I really don't know. Like, was it dinner? Was he pissed when he woke up? I have no idea.
Mom, where's the Hot Pockets? And then he just punched her in the stomach. And then he looked in the fridge and there was Sunny D, and he was totally cool.
Yeah, he got home from practice, like wanted to take a shower, fucking just was pissed off. Who knows? That's the question. How's a curfew going to help you from punching your mom?
If there's anyone listening that could point me to a site that tells you who was on injured reserve last year, I would greatly appreciate it right about now. I'm still
going into the season too, like who fucked up during preseason.
Well, I'm trying to figure out who was the pick last year because someone got picked. That was
because we were all laughing our ass out. Like as soon as the pick came through,
yeah.
Well, the year.
Well, because we were all kind of waiting for it. Because there's always that one guy in your fantasy draft who doesn't know who is injured or who's out for half the year or whatever, and you're always waiting for that guy to get picked. And then when he does, you just explode. And that's what happened. I can't remember who it was.
I think you guys made fun of me for the Chris Johnson pick for a little bit.
Wait. Was it Jamal Charles?
No, because he started the season.
No, he got hurt during the year.
Got hurt during the year? Fuck.
Yeah, the Chiefs lost like their 3 best players within like 3/4 of the first game, which is a Broncos.
Yeah, good for the Chiefs. I hate that team.
They're probably going to come back and be really good this year, which sucks.
No, they're not.
Dude, Eric Berry is a fucking studded safety. They were without him all of last year. Jamal Charles can run the ball, and fucking Bo was hurt most of last year too.
Dwayne Bowe sucks though.
Dwayne Bowe is awesome, and he has the best fucking nickname ever, Over the Dwayne Bowe.
That's terrible.
I'm gonna hate you.
It's a fucking fantastic nickname, Over the Dwayne.
That's horrendous.
Somewhere over the Dwayne Bowe.
That's horrendous.
Oh my god.
Derek, you're the fucking worst. You never do anything right.
You're
so
horrendous.
Johnny Knox is out until late October, so don't draft him at all.
It's also Johnny Knox, so you should never even have ever had a thought about it.
He was great in Jackass.
Wow.
All right, so Scott Fujita is still playing. I don't know if he's Japanese. We were having this discussion earlier, Gino. Do you know of any Japanese players in the NFL?
Fuck. Wow.
Like Chung with the Patriots, isn't he?
No. No. Well, didn't Dallas used to have a linebacker named like Dat Lin or something like that?
Yeah, he was Vietnamese, but he was born in California.
Oh, okay.
Chung is fucking Jamaican, and yet they have his name in simplified and traditional Chinese on his Wikipedia page. I don't understand.
Wait, so Mike, I have a question. Is it too late to change the league to individual defensive players?
It's not too late, but I fucking hate that shit, so go fuck yourself.
I was going to say, God, no, please don't do that.
So are we going to do, is it PPR still this year? Are we doing the same scoring?
Yeah, it's all the same scoring from last year.
Okay, well then quarterback doesn't really matter because we nerfed the shit out of quarterbacks in our league.
Can we at least do an auction draft?
It's a PPR league. What was that?
Can we at least do an auction draft?
Let's do a double round robin keeper 5-year fucking.
It's too late to do auction stuff. I mean, we could do it, but that's a pretty big change to make. I would love to run an auction league, but those drafts take fucking forever. So
can we just make it like $100 buy-in, like get everybody in here?
See, no one knows how to handle their fucking money, just like in real life. Someone will spend like $80 on their first pick just to outbid whoever else is running them up, and then they have no money, and then it just gets dumb.
It's so much fun running everybody up, though.
That's true.
It sounds like forced to pay $100 for Newton.
Well, shit, we lost our fucking starting guard, Chris Cooper, for fucking the first 6 weeks. That blows. I'm just looking at the injury report right now. We lost Chris Cooper. I'm not happy about it.
So, Derek,
as in Denver?
Yes.
He's on the team, by the way.
The Royal we.
The over-under on the Chiefs this year is 8, so
over.
Them being good.
Take the over. They're going to have a cake schedule, too.
The under's at minus 140, so it's shaded for the under.
I'm excited to see how my Cowboys do, especially because I hate the Redskins.
No Cowboys fan is excited to see what they do.
I'm excited because they're supposed to be really good on paper.
They're supposed to be really good every year.
As long as Tony Romo's the quarterback, no.
Tony Romo is a great quarterback, sir.
He will never win.
Oh my God!
We're gonna have this argument on the air.
He is a great quarterback. He's better than Jay Cutler.
Guys, Tony Romo or Jay Cutler?
Romo.
Jay Cutler.
Romo.
See,
Fagan will bring this up. There are statistics that back Romo in almost every fucking category. But you can't put a statistic on the fucking one time in the game, and he does this probably on average twice. So between 1 and 3 times a game, when he just does the dumbest shit anyone's ever done on a football field ever, and totally cost the team the game. Like the Lions game. Was that last year when they were kicking the shit out of Detroit?
It was glorious. Matt, how did you feel watching the Lions game last year?
Not good, man. Not good.
It took him like
Tony
a solid
Romo.
quarter and a half and 3 interceptions to give that lead back, and he was just determined.
Fagan, how do you combat that with your statistics?
Well, I put Jay and Tony in like the same tier of quarterbacks.
Romo, shut the fuck up.
I like Jay Cutler too. I've always been a
no
Jay Cutler.
one likes Jay Cutler.
He's a cat.
I like Jay Cutler.
Jay
why you need to read
because he doesn't give a shit about anything.
Jay Cutler is a cat.
You know how I know nobody likes Jay Cutler? From reading Gino's Twitter during football season last year.
I don't like anybody on the Bears during football season because they're all terrible.
That was literally my favorite time. Was just Sundays reading Gino's Twitter. Like you could have the worst day, and Gino's having the worst day ever. Like you can have a terrible day, and reading Gino's Twitter, you're like, oh, I'm not having that bad.
And the thing is that when the Bears are doing good and winning games, he's pretty quiet on Twitter. It's only when they're getting their asses kicked.
Well, what am I going to say? Like, oh, I'm so happy, yay. Like, no.
Bear down, Chicago Bears.
I say shit like bear down. You know, they score a touchdown, and I'll fucking mark out for them. But no, it's just and that's it. I'm quiet, but I'm never quiet because they always fucking fuck me over. And I hate Lovie Smith's guts with a hot, fiery passion that burns deep within my soul. The fire of 1,000 suns. I would pay money if they would if they would fire him. I would pay so much money. I would work at SBN for free for 3 years.
Aren't you thrilled that they're going to automatically review turnovers now so that Lovie Smith has to come up with new and creative ways to waste his challenge flags?
No, because he'll come up with even stupider ways to waste the challenges.
I'm excited, man. He's like Picasso with those things.
Well, let me pose this. Maybe pose this question to you, Gino. If you found out, if you had the offer made to you that the Bears would fire Lovie Smith, but they would hire Norv Turner as a replacement, would you fire him?
Oh, in 2 seconds.
To get Norv Turner?
2 fucking seconds. To get Norv Turner.
Oh,
Here's why.
Because we have a defense and we need an offense.
Exactly. Because I'm so fucking sick of seeing a cover 2 that even a moderate,
even a Tim Tebow, for instance, can find holes.
You could torch that defense. The zone does not work in the NFL. It doesn't. No one who ever runs a zone wins a fucking Super Bowl. The only team that did was the Colts in 2006. You know who they beat? The fucking Bears.
Hey, just to be fair, Tampa Bay did it too when they won, and because they had the personnel. If you have incredible safeties and amazing linebackers,
they had the fucking playbook. They had the coach from the team the previous year. They knew everything they were going to do. They knew all the calls. They knew all the signals. They barely changed anything. Gruden's like, oh, this is going to be a fucking cakewalk. This is great. And plus, they play a different version of it.
Rich Gannon's dink and dunk was kind of made for the cover 2 too, because he didn't really throw the 15-yard out, which is what fucking destroys the cover 2, just that hole in the middle of the defense. But
yeah, that's why fucking Aaron Rodgers throws for 6,000 yards and fucking 50 touchdowns in 2 games every year, because he's got Greg Jennings who's just fast enough, and for some fucking reason, Charles Tillman is still employed in the NFL. Like,
you hate Charles Tillman.
How does it not kill you? How does it not kill everyone on earth to think that motherfucker is getting millions of dollars? Like, he gets a game check for like $300 fucking grand every Sunday, and they go, here's your money, and so he can go out there and basically fucking pull his pants down and take a big, gigantic shit all over Shoulder Field shit. Yeah, that's why the turf sucks. That's why it's not the grass. It's Charles Tillman taking a fat fucking shit and rubbing it all in, running around, getting fucking beat in coverage by Vincent fucking Jackson, the slowest fucking receiver in the history of the world, and Tillman's fucking trailing him because he's got no fucking clue what he's doing. And as soon as he gets beat, the first thing he does is he looks at the safety and starts fucking pointing because he doesn't want people like me calling him out going, oh, it's obviously not Tillman's fault, it's the safety. It's what these people do with the fucking, they ask for pass interference every fucking down, receivers. Oh, he was holding me. No, you fucking suck. He wasn't holding you. You're not a good enough receiver to get separation. That's what Tillman does. He points to the floor. Oh, we're playing cover. I thought I had deep help. No, you didn't think you had deep help. You knew you were going to get beat, and you fucking half-assed it. Oh, my God. Why you have to do this to me, man? I want to come and talk fantasy, and we're talking about the fucking Bears and Charles Tillman, the worst quarterback in the history of the league, and he still gets paid. He still gets fucking paid.
We just had some live-ass Gino time right there.
Yeah, this whole worst quarterback in the league, every team has a terrible cornerback story. We had Lenny Walls, who was 6'4", so everybody nutted his pants. And I saw him. I was at a game. He went in, got a pass interference call. Shanahan pulled him off for 2 plays, sent him back in. He got another pass interference call. He got pulled off, and he never played another down for us.
Gino, I've always wondered this, though. Are you a baseball fan, too? Are you a Cubs fan?
No.
That would be, honestly, that would be way better Gino time. Just because, if you're a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan, that'd be incredible.
No, I don't. I'm very singular. I hardly even, now that football season's here, it's next week. I don't even give 2 shits about MMA.
Dude,
Trent
Richardson is getting drafted higher than Adrian Peterson is. Trent Richardson.
A lot of people have a hard-on for Trent Richardson.
Do you know what team he plays for?
The Cleveland Browns?
The Cleveland Browns. When was the last time you had a fantasy star on the Cleveland Browns? How'd that Peyton Hillis thing work out for everyone?
Well, he was a star for that 1 year.
Can we talk about how shitty running back position is this year?
Yeah.
If there's a run on running backs in like the first round, some of us are going to be hurting.
There's gonna be that. Your second running back, like best case scenario, is fucking DeMarco Murray.
Well, the thing is that there's
Dude, if you get DeMarco Murray, you're lucky. Like,
if he's your second, then who the fuck is your first? Would have to be someone like Foster, because you would. I mean, there's 12 teams in this league to get all the way back and still have
you
Murray
got
on the board in
Foster,
the second.
Rice, McCoy. They have then Chris Johnson, Ryan Matthews right below him, which I think is absurd.
Darren McFadden.
Matthews just broke his fucking collarbone. He's not even going to be playing.
They've got he's going average, fucking 12th pick.
Well, these are from leagues that from before he got hurt. So
yeah, I mean, like Forte, DeMarco, Steven Jackson, like
can we depend on DeMarco Murray? Like, he had he had a few good games last year, and then he got hurt. Like, I mean, are we really going to treat him like he's top tier, like number one fantasy running back? Like,
because last year he wasn't like their guy. He wasn't going to be there. They still had a hard on for Felix Jones, I think. I think they've gotten over that now. I don't even think he's still on the team.
Yeah, they cut him.
Yeah, so he's kind of the guy now, and they're going to be desperate to give him touches because they can't fucking have Romo throwing 50 times a game because you know how that works. Okay, so, Demaryius Thomas over Percy Harvin is fucking absurd, too. Percy Harvin's going to get a lot of touches this year.
How's Peyton Manning going to look this year, Subbo? What's Denver's record at the end of the year right now? Tell me. Don't hold back.
I'll go 10-6, and that's probably going to come back and bite me in the ass. It might be the reverse of that. Yeah, I'm going to go 10-6. We have a tough schedule.
You would say 10-6.
We've got at least 5 wins in the division because the Raiders are terrible, and I think the Chargers are going to be bad too.
But the Chiefs are going to be good.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs might be 10-6, 11-5 too. I think the Chiefs are going to be good, but I don't think San Diego's going to do anything, and the Raiders are the Raiders. Right. So 10-6 might be optimistic. You know, I think it's either us or the Chiefs for the division, like I said, because I don't have any faith in San Diego. I think they fucked up keeping Norv, and they're gonna realize it probably halfway through the year when they're 2-5.
I mean, I think that just starting out the season, you guys get shit kicked the first 3 games.
Well, we start against Pittsburgh, and we beat them with Tim Tebow last time out. Are we at home for that game? Because if so, their safety still can't play.
Man. You know it's a lot different. With
their safety can't play if they come to Denver either way. All right.
Yeah,
so
no.
Is it in Denver?
It's Pittsburgh in Denver, then at Atlanta, then Houston in Denver, then Oakland in Denver, then at New England, then at San Diego. Like, those first 6 games, you guys may end up being 2-4.
We may end up being
possible they're going 0-6,
and then we may right the ship.
How are you going to right the ship when after the bye week you have the Saints, the Bengals, the Panthers, then the Chargers again?
How did you get 10-6 out of that, Subbo?
You think the Panthers are going to beat us?
Wins?
You think the Panthers are going to beat us? Like I said, we sweep Oakland, and I think we sweep San Diego, so that's 4 right there.
I'm looking at this schedule. I think you guys go completely defeated.
0-16.
Bovada has the Broncos and the Chargers at 9, which is heading the AFC West. And I found our guy. It was Ryan Williams. I was right. It was Ryan Williams in the 9th round to Leland last year.
There you go.
Also, I mean, like, Subbo, you think you're beating Baltimore at Baltimore?
No, I didn't say that. I said we'll beat Carolina. We'll beat the Bengals. I think the Saints are not going to be that good, so we can win there too. They don't have their head coach. They don't have their head coach. They don't have their starting middle linebacker. Dude, hey, what's the over/under on the Saints, Mike? Pull up the betting line.
It's 9. Oh, on the Saints?
Yeah.
Fucking hold on.
I bet it's 7.
I just fucking left it.
The Saints aren't going to be that good.
No. How many teams get their head
coach come on.
lose their best defensive player, Jonathan Vilma, for the entire year?
Subbo, you said they're not going to be that good.
No, 8-8. I'll be surprised if they're above 500. They're not going to win that division.
The Saints, 8-8 for the Saints. That's what you're saying.
Let's see what the betting lines are.
Well, you're not going to be happy. Their win total's 10.
That's stupid.
Although the under is -170, so you're probably looking more around, closer to 9. But
Maybe they have an easy schedule, but I don't like that division has Carolina, Atlanta, and Tampa Bay. I don't think they win that division.
You just said that the
You were just talking about how Denver's going to kill those teams.
Yeah, we can beat Carolina. Atlanta's still good.
Dude, the Saints aren't suddenly a shit team because the coach isn't on the sideline.
No, their best defensive player. We lost our best defensive player.
They've never been about defense.
You know how the Saints beat you? By putting up 90 points.
But if they allow 95, then it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, who in the league besides the Packers can put up 95?
Dude, against New England.
The Saints defense has never been that good, and without their best player, it's going to be that much worse.
You know what? I'm holding you to this one. I'm holding you to the fact that you just said
I think the Broncos
New Orleans Saints are not going to be that good this year.
I think if they go above 500, I'll be surprised.
You should have to do something for this. You should come up with some fucking challenge type deal, like with the YouTube shit. Some cinnamon challenge type thing.
Here's what you're going to do, Subbo. If you can't do it, you're going to have to drink a gallon of strawberry milk.
No, you drink milk. I'm drinking piss. I'm done drinking stuff as far as.
Okay, fine. Then you have to eat 2 tablespoons of cinnamon.
I don't want to.
That's 500. That's if they don't go 500, right?
If they win, they're not. Like I said, I'm going to be surprised. I don't. If they go better than 500, if they win more than 8 games,
then you eat 2 tablespoons of cinnamon and you put it on YouTube.
Whoa, hold on.
No, if they don't,
wait, hold on. There's some important things here. You went from if you said
said 8. I said 8 and 8 as my prediction. I said if they go over 500, I would.
Okay, so 9 and over.
Yeah, if they go 9 and 7, I'll say damn.
Okay, no. They go 9 and 7. You're eating 2 tablespoons of cinnamon.
I'm good. I'm not agreeing to this yet.
And Gino agrees that he'll do it if they go 7 and 9.
No, because the point is they're not going to be as good. If they win 9 games, if we reversed it, if they win 9 games, yeah, then we could talk about it. And then Subbo has to do it if they go under 500, 8 and 8 or less.
No, I'm saying they will go 8 and 8 or less.
You said 10 and 6.
No, that's for the Broncos. I said the Broncos will go 10 and 6.
All right, so the Broncos.
That's what we're talking about. That's what I thought we were talking about Denver.
No, they're laughing at me about me saying New Orleans will be at best a 500 team.
Okay, we're talking about New Orleans then?
That's what the bet currently. That's what they're trying to get me into. That if New Orleans wins 9 games, then I do something.
Oh, see, I'm not touching New Orleans. I don't. Yeah, they're kind of.
They're a little too iffy. I got one person who's not going crazy on me for that.
I don't know about New Orleans. That's kind of the division the way it is in the NFC and the way things look right now in the league.
And they lost their coach,
their best defensive player.
That's like the least important thing in all this, though. The fact that Vilma's gone.
Their quarterback of their defense, the guy that called the plays.
No,
the defense sucks.
It's going to be even worse now.
That's like saying Cleveland's best defensive player got hurt, and you're like, man, they're really going to suck now.
Cleveland doesn't have a good defensive player, though. Vilma's a solid middle linebacker.
I don't know about that.
He was great with the Jets. They fucking paid him a boatload of money to come to New Orleans.
I also want Super Bowl predictions. I want to hear who each of you guys thinks can go to the Super Bowl. Legit too, not bullshit.
Legit.
I'll tell you what. I'll go out on a limb here. I think Houston puts it together.
Not Denver.
No, I don't think we're going to a Super Bowl, let alone winning one with Peyton.
So Houston versus who?
I'll go Houston. Fuck, I can't pick against the Giants. I'll go with the Giants.
Rob?
I have to pick against the Giants because I'm a Cowboys fan. But I also hate the Packers and the Lions.
And I'm also not retarded, so I can't pick the Cowboys.
And I can't pick the Cowboys. So I'm going to go ahead and say it'll end up being... Fuck, man. It'll probably be the Packers or the Lions in the Super Bowl for the NFC. And AFC, man, fuck.
So the NFC is going to send 2 teams to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, it's just basically going to be 2 teams in the NFC.
It's going to be a fatal 4-way this year.
Right. It's going to be hell in a cell on an NFL field. I don't know, man. Right. I'm okay with it being Packers and, let's say, Texans. I think that's going to be a good game.
Fuck to Houston. Fagan?
It's going to be Green Bay beating New England.
He's picking a winner. Why Green Bay?
Because they're the best fucking team in the league.
Because he's a Green Bay fan.
Because Aaron fucking Rodgers.
Here's the thing, Gino. Fagan's from Chicago, and he's a Green Bay Packers fan.
I've noticed more and more that he's like on Rodgers' jock.
I converted. I'm a Green Bay convert.
Oh my god!
How do you do that?
I actually do have some ties. I had my step grandfather who passed away a couple years ago was a Packer fan, and my best friend forever has been a Packer fan.
Oh, your BFF?
Yeah,
Your BFF,
my BFF literally from like 5 years old.
You're not a Packers convert, Mike. You're a Bears traitor.
Whatever. The thing about football is like when I grew up, I played a ton of Tecmo Super Bowl, and I was a big Buffalo Bills fan, and so I never really had the tie to the Bears like I do the White Sox or the Blackhawks or the Bulls. So, I don't really like turning away from the Bears wasn't exactly a difficult thing for me to do.
One of my eternal memories from childhood will always be walking downstairs and watching my dad yelling at Jim Kelly to pull his head out of his ass.
The Bills were the truth in Tecmo, though.
Oh no, dude! You even as a Broncos fan, you had to play with the Raiders. You could not beat the backfield of Marcus Allen and Bo Jackson.
Yeah, you could with the Buffalo.
Yes, you could with the Bills with Kenneth Davis and Thurman Thomas.
I'm talking like the old. We had the one that was. Are we talking the old school one for NES that was not branded by the NFL but had the players in it? Because that had John Elway and Tony Dorsett on the Broncos team, which made me happy.
About Tecmo Super Bowl, which is for the NES, which was the sequel to Tecmo Bowl.
Yes.
But I prefer Tecmo Bowl. I prefer the original.
You're talking about QB Chiefs, not Montana, but QB Chiefs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And QB Eagles.
Yeah. Fucking get with it, Subbo.
Wait,
I prefer the original where they had the right colors and everything, but it was just the name of the city was just Den instead of the Denver Broncos, and it still had all the players.
Speaking of which,
the best football game though was Madden 94 or Madden 95 on the Sega Genesis when there was like a glitch in the system, and all you had to do was an HB toss to either Emmitt Smith or Barry Sanders, and you'd take it to the end zone every single time for like 90 yards every single time. It was the best game.
That also had the passing windows, which I miss, and that were badass that just showed up on the top of your screen. But the best fucking football game that I remember playing was Super High Impact because there was point.
You're an idiot.
Dude, you could play. There were brawls, like team-wide brawls in the middle of that game. If you got 2 back-to-back sacks, it would fucking give you this cool little graphic.
NFL Blitz.
Before we get away from Tecmo, Fagan, I got to know. Did you zigzag?
Oh, yeah. When I was a kid, I totally
You're the worst. You're the worst. That's how you know someone's a terrible human being, if they zigzag playing Tecmo.
Yes.
I don't
zigzag.
I don't zigzag anymore. I definitely zigzagged when I was a kid.
Okay, because that's fucking basically
curious about
cheap.
zigzagging, and you experimented with it for a little bit, but
like if you used one guy like a safety, you could they built up enough speed, you could basically cover the whole fucking field, and you're like yelling at your brother, like, "Quit fucking covering the whole field, you dick!"
Oh, I never did that.
Once you stopped it.
I never did it on defense. I only did it when I had.
yeah, we're coming up here on the limit, guys.
Yeah. Do you guys know that before we get off the air here? Do you guys know that there's a website that updates the Tecmo Super Bowl ROM each year with the current rosters?
That's badass.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I played it last year. I've played it the last couple of years when it comes out. I play it for about 2 weeks and then I kind of get sick of it. But
I did this whole thing with XBMC where now like every video game ROM that I have has like the box art and shit. So I'm gonna start updating that. I got all my emulators set up and everything.
Yeah.
Do they maintain the usual stuff like the hut till infinity till you hike it?
Some of the stuff gets screwed up in the ROMs. I don't know. Even like the regular ROM that you can download, I don't think the hut is in there. Just something like it's converted. But like they're able to go into the code because obviously the Jaguars and the Panthers weren't in the game back in '91 or whatever, and they're actually able to go in and like alter the code to put them in the game. So it has all.
Holy fuck.
Neither was Tennessee. Neither was what other new teams have there been since '91?
The
Ravens.
Yep.
Yeah, Baltimore. So were
the Rams still in LA back then, or had they moved?
No, they were in LA.